you are gonna see some cool ass shit.
Yeah, you don't want two Flavor Flays.
Heart transplants, brain surgeries. I've seen it all.
Dude, that's fucking dope.
Walk up and just get it, whatever it is.
Yeah, brother.
I'm trying not to laugh, bro, but Josh is fucking killing me.
Guess what Navy SEALs do, motherfucker? They communicate. And we're live.
All right, welcome everybody back to the Happy Hoodlums podcast. It is the Happy Hoodlum himself, Mr. Kemper Woodruff, and we have Zachary Sampson, the powerful meat castle of a man himself, in the flesh.
Hey.
Back for another episode. This is an episode that comes to me at a time where like some shit has hit me life-wise, where it's like they talk about putting all your eggs in like one basket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Old folks always tell you that, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I think that's because people get more faith in the basket than they do the eggs. You know what I mean? And it really comes down to continuously working, regardless of what the fuck is happening to the vessel. I think that's whether it's you, a relationship, like a business, whatever it may be. And this shit is on my mind today. And it's made me start to think about like work, and that like real faith is expressed through the work and what you do when it seems like all is lost, and I think that we're constantly building, and that wrestling with the thought of rebuilding is where people can allow themselves to become more devastated than the situation is devastating. What I mean by that is like causing more pain by running from pain rather than learning pain management, and that's a part of the process too, because there's seasons of life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for instance, it's like I rolled up a blunt like 5 hours ago, and that it's just been sitting there because I couldn't get myself to smoke the shit. Because that was kind of my natural tendency of like, when things got really, really bad for me, I would go to the ganja. You know what I mean? And now it's like that tendency almost represents backwards to me, going backwards in regression rather than progression. And so even though all this shit that I've been like working on life-wise has taken a drastic left turn, what I'm learning now is like running from pain, bro, is worse than going through pain and just sitting in it. Like trying to escape it puts off this energy of not accepting the situation, and it's like delaying your progress. And because of that, it puts you in the mind state of like a victim, where if you're just like, fuck it, bro, it is what it is. I gotta sit there and just take it, and regardless of that, there's shit that still needs to be done, even if I'm not doing things at the same capacity as I was the day before, I'm still doing my program, Like it hasn't completely gone off track. And it's just an interesting thing of reestablishing momentum that can get you over that hill.
Yeah, I think there's like, I mean, like in terms of like pain management, I think that it's not even necessarily like just accepting that's where you're at. It's like at first you have to accept like, all right, this is where my feelings are. This is what I'm feeling at this moment, and this is pain. But rather than just being like, I am here, you still have to like work on that pain. Because like even if you're just accepting pain is like the first step to actually processing it. And like if you don't do any other thing to process the pain, then it's just the same thing as running away. You just accepted the fact that it's here and you're just getting punched in the face for the rest of your life rather than sitting there and confronting, maybe not even sitting there, but just confronting what is causing that pain mentally and then addressing it and figuring out ways to cope with it, make it better, fix it in your own head, and then things progress.
Mm-hmm.
People tend to get like people who accept like, oh, I'm depressed or I'm sad, and then or I'm just an angry person. It's like you may be accepting what you're feeling, but you're not working through it. So accepting your feelings is the first step through working through it, but it's not the way to like completely get through it. And so it's like it's two ways about it. It's like, all right, fucking some people run from it, some people accept it and then sit in a corner within that acceptance, and some people accept it and fucking open the door and start walking through it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's what you got to do. And acceptance at first may take a while, like accepting the fact that something is the way that it is. Like, oh, this girl broke up with me, or fucking this dude cut me off in the fucking turn lane or some bullshit, you know? Accepting that on certain occasions takes a little bit longer, but that's the first step. And then once you get past that, I think that's where the real work starts.
Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, in a certain way, pain is like the fuel that you need to like have a reality check with constantly. You know, like seeking 100% comfort is like unnatural. It's unbalanced, you know?
Seriously. Yeah.
And I think it's almost like I was talking to a friend of mine today, and they'd asked me for some advice, and I was telling them, you know, seeking 100% comfort is like going home and wanting to do nothing. Well, you can do that, but it's not necessarily sustainable. And it's setting yourself up for frustration because there's little things that will still need to be done, like taking out the trash or something, right?
Yeah.
Like wiping a counter down, just little things like that. And if you're seeking to like be 100, your 100% comfort to require zero work or effort from you, um, on maintaining like whatever positive state that you got going on, like you're gonna be fucked up. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be frustrated over little shit, you know. And that whole thing is kind of an analogy for life because like I've kind of started to look at dealing with myself between my observation of what's, you know, what thoughts I'm having and the thoughts that are actually like taking place that I'm kind of impacting right?
Yeah.
Um, and so living in my own head is kind of like I'm chilling with myself. It's like I'm talking with myself so constantly. It's almost like not being alone,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so I look at it as kind of like that's like my prison cell in a sense, you know? Like, and not bringing bad energy into the environment that I must be contained in, you know? And so I've been kind of looking at shit and like a thought will come into my mind and I'm like, no, we don't do that in here. Not in here. Like some shit can go on that's bad and I can observe it out in the world, but I'm not bringing that outer world to this inner world of where I'm at,
Yeah.
you know? We don't do that in here, you know? Um, and it's become kind of like a profound exercise that I continue with often, you know? And it's brought me to that point where I'm looking at shit like, you know, I'm not trying to escape being in here. You know, I've accepted where I'm at and where I'm working from and what I'm working with, you know, and so I'm not trying to escape it like on some temporary shit and then come back to a dirty house, you know,
Yeah.
just because I want 100% comfort. And kind of, you know, like for me, like I think weed is, I've got through some of the worst times in my life smoking weed. And in regards to that, bro, like I gotta say, marijuana, not only on its like chemical level, but just for what it can do for your perspective, is 1000% a medicine. But I think there's points that you come to in your life, especially like for me, I was leaning on that crutch so hard that it had to fail me,
Mm-hmm.
you know? 'Cause I wasn't meant to be on, you know, like a crutch forever. It's like my leg had healed, but I just wasn't walking on it properly anymore. I got used to just walking with crutches, you know? So I had to have this kind of like reality check for myself, kicking the motherfucking crutches out so I could stand on my own too. Um, and but what I'm saying is like it's also a beautiful thing in that you can be so liberated in moments of like creativity and shit. And like I swear I get so giggly and like immersed into like whatever I'm doing, like while I'm stoned. But then like you come back down and it's like, oh, okay. You know, I have to like reacclimate to shit. And so it's become this kind of like weird balancing act for me of like understanding my own habits, you know? And
Yeah.
then that those habits aren't just in regards to when I'm like smoking weed or something. You know, it's not just in regards to like when you're like high on a substance. It that same relationship you have with that substance is mental. And you start taking it to everything else. You start looking at the easy way to do everything else. And it fucks you off, you know? And that's why you can't do just a little something. Like, no, how you do anything is how you do everything. Everything influences everything else in your life. And so like pain management is perhaps the most important skill that we can, you know, come up with second to just enjoying our life and living faithful to what we want to experience, even if it doesn't come about in the way that you expect it, you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever had some shit like that just kicked the crutches out from underneath you? This shit has made me realize why like a day off is not necessarily like a good thing. Like you gotta really earn your time away from the grind. for it to not fuck you off and take you off track?
Um, I, I mean, truthfully, I don't think I really ever had a crutch. Um,
Huh.
and now maybe that crutch was like isolation or immersing myself in video games, which would then become isolation. Uh, but I don't think that like I ever leaned on anything specifically for like coping.
Hmm.
And I actually learned, and maybe this is my crutch. Um, but the last breakup I had earlier this year, uh, that relationship showed me that I actually didn't do any coping from past relationships. Which makes me think, what else did I not cope with, or work through in my life? So potentially my crutch was suppression of emotion and pain and trauma and shit like that. And that might come from the fact that I was like a super loner loser kid, probably the number one suspect on most teachers' lists to be the school shooter. You know what I mean? Like, dead serious. Like, for the first 2 years of going to the high school I went to, I wore a hood all day.
They're like,
No
oh, that
friends.
kid, something's not right at his
Yeah.
house. He's getting beat on or something.
I was in the fucking counselor's office, not because I was getting in trouble, but because they were fucking checking on me. I'm telling you what, they fucking were pulling me into that office like every month and shit like that. So, but so
Hey,
potentially,
did it feel good to be seen though? In a strange way.
what sucked was feeling like I was different, because with my vision, my eyes fatigue really fast when I'm reading. And with that, I needed a little bit longer to take tests. Um, and so I had a little bit of like I would have meetings with teachers, like all my teachers in a group. Um, because of this, it was because of like they were tailoring the way that I got assignments and shit like that, and I didn't like it. So like I wasn't
Bro,
worried about I wasn't worried about being seen.
they
I don't
put an
think.
awkward spell on you, bro.
Yeah.
And that's like some real shit. Like, you know who has the ultimate power to do that?
Huh.
Women. Women can cast an awkwardness spell that, like, if you're a gay dude, it's like force field. Somehow gay dudes just get right through it. You know what I mean? But you have to be like super confident or absolutely drunk, and being handsome is the X factor in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of like getting through that fucking awkwardness spell just to interact with someone. But you can be like down the street from a chick and she can be like, and just fucking.
You wanna know what's crazy, bro? I don't get that. I don't
You
get
don't
that.
get the awkward. You've never
I
had an awkward spell put on you.
It's not that I have never had it. It's not that I've never had it,
Oh,
because I've
dude.
I've always been an awkward person.
Yeah.
But up until like the last year, now, one, because of working at the gym and having so much like interaction with just normal people, but also like really hot chicks.
Yeah. It sounds
I
like you
feel
were in
like
a
it's like,
cocoon, and then
yeah,
you just emerged from an awkward cocoon as a
exactly.
butterfly.
And so I don't think it was a spell. I think I was just a fucking awkward person. But nowadays, in the last year, motherfucker, I can have a conversation with anybody and not feel awkward one bit.
Well, I can dig that, But what I'm saying to you, bro, is awkwardness spells are fucking real.
I
You
believe
know
it
what I mean?
for sure.
And unless you just disregard it and you're like, fucking fuck your spell. You know what I mean?
I lean into awkwardness. Like if there's an awkward moment, I'm like, ugh, that was awkward. Like I say it out loud.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You gotta call it. You gotta be like, don't put that fucking awkwardness spell on me.
That's confidence.
You know what I
Like
mean? Yeah,
there
exactly.
there's this YouTube channel. It's called Charisma University, I think. And one of the things that they talk about to display confidence is to call out awkward moments and make fun of it.
Yeah.
And like don't just like hide away from it and they show like clips of like famous people doing it, whether it's like on talk shows or in movies and shit, to kind of emphasize what they're trying to say. And it's so fucking cool because if you're an awkward person, watch this fucking channel because it's absolutely fucking amazing. And it teaches you social skills on how to like maneuver them. It's interesting. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah, navigating situations. But yeah, I'm just like, dude, you just gotta tell them sometimes, like, don't you fucking put that awkwardness spell on me out of nowhere.
Yeah. Like,
But
why
that's
are you
what
being
I'm
so
gonna-
awkward right now?
I was thinking about it while I was walking down the street, you know, and I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, that's a real thing that happens all the time, and it's like a socially accepted thing that a lot of people live within this like fucking. It's like, you know, they get beat the fuck up non-verbally all the time. You know what I mean? We just accept that shit, dude. But you know, it made me think about it. I'm like, think about how long like gay serial killers could get away with like killing fucking women. Because, and this is terrible to say, gay serial killers are kind of the goats of like fucking serial killers. And so I think
You need
it's
to
because-
explain that. You need to explain why they would be the goat of serial killers.
Okay. Because what defeats an awkwardness spell like nothing else is somehow like if you're more handsome, like if your body is bigger, right? Which means, you know, girls are somewhat retarded in this, right? Because why would you not be more scared of a more imposing force? But somehow a more intimidating figure, you know, just naturally like defeats the awkwardness spell easier, right? And so gay dudes, a lot of them super buff. Also, they can be handsome. And then a third X factor, they like the shit that women like, bro. And so and then they find out that you're gay and they're like, "Oh no, you can come with us." But imagine if there was like a dude, see, I was watching Silence of the Lambs. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is a dark, crazy-ass movie. I watched it for the first time. I was like, yo, this dude's over here making fucking skin suits. And he's, like, trying to be a woman and shit,
yeah,
you know?
so basically, you're just saying that a gay dude is disarming, essentially.
Well, dude, well, think about this, bro. Wasn't it, like, Ted Bundy or whatever? Wasn't he like the fucking goat of serial killers or some kind of shit? He was real up there.
He killed a lot of people and he did a lot of fucked up shit. He like fucked like dead body parts and shit. Like body, he
was real
like fucked
deep.
the inside of an arm, I think, or some shit.
And look, I mean, it's totally different. There's levels to shit. That's like way beyond gay, bro. But you know, I'm just saying, like, I think that's fucking hysterical. Like,
Yeah.
as I was,
But he killed dudes, I think.
Oh yeah,
I think he killed and fucked
100%.
dudes.
But I'm just saying, imagine that could be fucking terrible. It just doesn't happen.
I'm sure there's been gay serial killers.
There's been
There
a
has
couple.
to be. They're out there somewhere. There's a statistic that says you walk by at least one serial killer at least once in your life.
They're still on the loose, dude. What? Yeah, this is a crazy story. Okay, so all right, so my homie was working on this job site with my stepdad, right?
Yeah.
And it was Gunner, and shout out to Gunner. So I remember we had been like fixing up like a pizza schmizza or some kind of shit, right?
Okay.
And at that time, I don't think he was in high school. like, and he was working with Reno, right? And so he runs into this guy, like, they're behind this fucking restaurant, kind of in like an alleyway-ish type. It's just a shady spot where like pedestrians don't just walk there. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
loading bay kind of shit, right? And there's like a hotel or like a you can walk into the back of the shit, you know, and down this hallway there's like an elevator or something. And so Gunner was like bringing stuff up this elevator, and he comes out and he said this dude kind of popped out of nowhere. And he was like, "Hey, can you help me?" And he was like, "What?" And he got this like weird vibe from the dude. And the dude was like bleeding, and he was trying to say that like he'd been like assaulted or some shit, and basically was like trying to get him like alone, right? And he was like, "Can you help me with this?" And he was like, "What the fuck, dude?" And he looked at the wound, and he was like, "This was like a self-inflicted wound. Like you could just tell from the angle of it and everything." He was like, "There's no way that this just happened and someone's just like running down the street." And the dude was like no one was around. And so he was trying to like isolate him further. And he was like, "No, bro." And so I'm like, my friend definitely escaped a serial killer that day on some crazy
Yeah.
shit.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, a serial killer is defined by like killing 3 people. I think that's like the bare minimum. So,
Well,
but he
dude,
could have fucking avoided fucking murder for sure.
gay serial killers are at like 342 right now, bro. And
So, the good
they're
ones,
not covered, bro,
the
because
fucking good ones, the
they
fucking
watch
good
all
ones.
the- Yeah, bro. Chicks love murder mysteries, and gay dudes love chick stuff, so they're definitely into murder mysteries.
Oh
And they know
yeah.
how to get away with the shit for a long ass time.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine the boys down at the precinct trying to decide who's gonna bust that dude? If you're in
Yeah.
any liberal city, right? Like, all right,
Portland, for
who's throwing the
example.
cuffs on this guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah, who's doing it?
Yeah, dude. Then you get
Nose
relegated
goes.
to like, fucking, yeah, you got to go to bumfuck nowhere, man.
Yeah.
You got to
You're
go be
getting
a cop for
canceled, bro.
like for racist after that shit. Like, it's fucked up. They only got a fucking KFC in town. That's the only shit they
Yeah.
got. Like one stoplight.
Oh, they're doing better than Cascade Locks then, bro. Fuck.
I don't know. See,
One
that's the type of shit
stoplight.
that I think about sometimes while I was like walking through the park. But you know, I realized it's way more fun to be a total bro and joke around than it is to be like um overly polished.
Yeah, bro.
You know?
Like here's the fucking thing, bro. Like you can have so much fun if you're just willing to like it. I seen this video. It was a comedian talking, and essentially, if you're just willing to like not be offended by things, because that's
Yeah,
a
you
total
fuck.
choice. That's a total
Yeah.
choice. If you're just willing not to be offended by things, you can have so much more fun.
Yeah, and
Like
I've
you
just
can have
started
boundaries to what you say, but like you can
in the
also
name
just
of
not be
comedy,
annoying.
bro. Almost you gotta allow every attempt.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to Patrice O'Neill for saying this shit. I was listening to Patrice O'Neill today, and he was talking about, you know, the same place that a funny joke comes from, it's the same thing with an unfunny joke. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And he was like, if you fucking cut off people's attempt at being funny, you know, even if no matter how fucked up it is or like bomb or whatever, like you can be like, boo, get the fuck out of here. But you can't fucking ostracize someone for just being fucking goofy. You know, and I just realized I was like, man, comedy is survival. And so like part of accepting shit is like kind of fuck around. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Fuck around with it and
If
play
you
with
can
the
make a
thought.
joke about something, bro, like if I feel like that's a really good way of coping with something. Like and maybe there's some things that like somebody might not want to make jokes about and shit. But like if you can joke about like bro, when I started being able to joke about being blind, that's when I really started to accept it the most
Yeah.
and like become completely okay with it. Like I think like people should attempt to joke about the shit that they have a hard time with, because it becomes easier to accept and easier to work through. And I don't know, it makes life easy. Fuck crow's feet, bro. Fucking get all wrinkly. If you have a wrinkly face when you're old, that's a roadmap
Where
of
did that
life.
come from, bro?
Some
Hold
people are
on.
afraid of laughing because like fucking crow's feet and fucking all the laugh lines and shit.
You know
It's
how
like,
much of
but
a
like
cycle
fuck
you
that.
have to be?
Some people are like that, bro. But I'm like, look, dude,
Yeah.
I've seen pictures that I took of my dad's face, and like his face, like old people's faces are a roadmap of their life. You
Yeah,
know?
he's a gristle, dude.
Yeah. So like if
That's
you
what I'm
have
saying.
if you have a unique face that have lines and fucking whatever markings and shit like that, who
Yeah,
cares,
you ever
bro?
seen like a fucked up lion, like a lion that got fucked up in his
Yeah.
fights, and it's like not his heyday anymore.
Look
And he's like
badass.
kind of in the fucking corner, like Scar or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, dude, yeah, it's one
Exactly.
of those.
But yeah,
Yeah,
man.
but I mean, they can install like bumpers for these now. They just fucking give you a little bumper right there.
Stretch you out. Fucking get
Yeah.
your skin tight again.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Fuck
They
that,
can
bro.
do it.
I don't give a fuck about looking old. Like my family pointed out gray hairs in my head the other day, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Who cares? I don't give a shit, bro.
Yeah,
I ain't tripping about nothing.
100%,
Let
bro.
me
You
get
just gotta
old.
rock. You gotta rock what you got. Like
Dude, I'll be a
regardless.
hot old dude. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be jacked and fucking lean.
He's like, oh yeah, but you
I'm gonna
gotta
get on
grow out your.
testosterone.
You
What?
know what I mean? For some reason, older dudes always have like a longer beard.
Oh yeah, when I get
Yeah.
older, I'll start growing a longer beard for sure. Like it'll
Well,
be
I
more
will
wizard
know. When
like.
it gets like out to here, bro, and it's all like tapered, you got that like fucking Pat McNamara shit going
Sharp.
on, bro.
Sharp.
Yeah,
Shing.
bro, that's when you're a killer, dude.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely legal.
I'm gonna be a
At that
fucking
point, you don't even need hair on your head. You just fucking
yeah.
stack it
Why?
all down.
Yeah. Who
You just
cares?
reverse it, bro. Like when you're young, you have
Take
like
it
a
off.
clean face. Then you have hair up here, but when you're old, you just reverse it. And
Unless you
fucking
can have a solid head of hair as an old dude.
oh yeah,
Like
dude.
if
My
I'm not
grandfather,
if I don't go bald, bro, I'm keeping my hair. I'm gonna make that shit
my
look fucking
grandfather
clean. I'm
was
gonna be one of those old
wavy,
dudes. Yeah, bro.
silver
I've seen
fucking,
pictures of
bro.
your grandpa. Not when he was old, but he had great hair when he was younger.
Dude, my grandpa
Fantastic.
had hair like that basically until he was older. It just rather than sitting up, it just laid down.
Oh, there you
But it was
go,
still like
slicked back.
wavy,
Yeah,
wavy perfection, bro.
there
Like
you
thick
go.
as it ever was, bro.
Fuck yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
I also have a cat that sheds a lot, so I guess what I'll do is I'll just fucking take the cat hairs, and just jar them bitches. It makes some fucking thick wigs, bro. Like, imagine a multicolored cat hair wig, bro. No one's ready for you to come stunting like that. That's what Donald Trump's gonna run in next year, bro. I
A
promise
fucking cat wig.
you. He's coming back. Bro, you cat people.
I slayed pussy for this wig, bruh. What are you
Listen,
talking about?
this is knitted of the finest coochie hairs.
Yeah,
The finest.
yeah. Meow, meow.
There's a 1978 collection on the back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're fucking organized by year and shit.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
That's funny.
Make some fantastic mustaches and shit.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
Because I was
Stupid.
kind of thinking about it, and I was like, bro, this is what I miss about the podcast. I was like, this podcast is definitely bound to get more broed out because the fucks I have to give at this point are absolute zip.
Well, you want to
Bro,
know what I enjoy? I enjoy it being broed out because when it gets, I can keep up to a certain extent when it gets like philosophical and shit. But once you start talking about like your metaphysics and all this other bullshit that you got going on in your head, I can't keep
It-
up. And so then I'm just sitting here getting lectured at for an hour. And so I try my best. But I
you
love the
lit-
broed out shit because it encompasses happy hoodlums. Then fucking name
yeah,
it.
and it's just kind of fucking hilarious that I'm sitting here as like a broed out monk all the time. That I'm like somewhere between the fucking galaxies and like the Bud Lights in the back of the fucking fridge at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my rest somewhere between those universes.
Yeah. That's fucking awesome.
And I was just listening, because dude, podcasts have fucking saved my life, and like
Yeah?
really doing this podcast, you know, like it's all personal development, but I think there's different ways of like coming at it, and I think part of like what this world needs is more like I don't give a fuck level of personal development. Like do the shit that works for you on the highest fucking levels, you know, and realizing like it doesn't take a fucking blunt or getting absolutely belligerent to have some fucking fun, goofy ass ideas. But if you fucking happen to find them there, you know, as long as you're not doing that shit too much to where it's detrimental to your hustle and your health, you know, then fuck it.
Facts.
You know, you'll be all right. You know,
Yeah.
because I think like there's a level of exceptionalism that like the highest level professional people have, um, but they're not always good at life. And then I look at people like comedians, right? In some ways, they suck at life for a lot of the results that they get. But in terms of their fucking joy factor, and like if you were basing riches on laughter, like they might have, there's some sad, dark people, fucking comedians, but they also have a ton of laughs, you
Yeah.
know, in the process. And that's why I look at like when you look at people in like the people in history that really fucking did it and took it to the next level, like Eddie Murphy's gonna be up there, like the top 10. You got to give it up to Jesus, but Eddie Murphy's like a close second. And like he he made movies, got a ton of puss, came from being broke, went around the world. He went to parties. You know, people knew him. You know, like shout out to Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy. Like they're fucking up there, bro.
You just put Eddie Murphy as a close second to Jesus.
You know how happy Jesus is gonna be when he gets to see Eddie Murphy in heaven? He's gonna be like, dog, you fucking killed it. I'm still watching, bro. I'm so happy you're fucking here at the party. You know what I mean? You nailed it, bro. Fucking nailed it. He was Dr. Doolittle. Like, come on now. Like across the board. Fucking Donkey from Shrek. Like, bro, and he did all the jokes, bro. Like he went raunchy with it. Like that's someone who's like achieved the level of mastery, bro.
Yeah.
Where it's like still a classy individual, fucking respected across the board. Definitely had to have done his fair share of drugs in the 80s.
Most
You know
definitely.
what I mean? And I don't think this is not a podcast about drug promotion or saying that it's good or necessary. But the farther back you go in history, there's an awesomeness level that goes along with it if you were doing like fucking shit in Hollywood. If you were just doing it sad at your house, just unofficially,
Yeah.
you know, just trying to find, you know, some chick to smash, like, dude, not the same level of excellence.
Yeah.
Not at all. It's got weird.
This got really weird. I
Yeah,
don't know
this
how it went there.
podcast took a left turn, but we showed the fuck up on this one, I gotta say.
It did. In terms of like what you were talking about, like to enjoy a moment, even if like if weed or alcohol happens to be in this situation, take some and enjoy the moment, but don't overdo it to get belligerent and shit like that. I've been sober for like 3, maybe close to 4 months.
Yeah.
and my girl asked me, was like, "Hey, next time we hang out, can we just have a chill day and take like an edible together?" And I was like, in my head, I was like, "Fuck, I'm on a good roll," but like, and I had to struggle with the idea of like, I don't want to fucking get down that rabbit hole again because I know
Bro,
my
you gotta tell
mindset,
her, fuck
and
no,
then.
E. You
But
get the
no,
fuck out of here. It's out of
fucking
the
would
garden
you?
right
You
now.
gotta let me finish sometimes, motherfucker.
Hey, bro, that's how humanity went down, bro. That's where it all started.
But
I'm just
no. What I started to understand was like, I was like, well, look, as long as I stay strict on myself the way I am with everything else, and as long as I'm not taking like 50 milligrams, because for me, after 4 months, that's a fucking high dose. As long as it's like 5 or 10, you can have an easy chill day on 5 or 10 milligrams of an edible. And I'm like, if we do a low amount, I'm down to do it with you. And that's basically what I was like. I had to like work through that realization of like, I can keep myself from getting back down that rabbit hole again. I'm like, fine. Yeah.
It takes a high level of excellence.
Yeah.
It takes a high level of excellence. I can tell you that much. That's what I realized because I'm like, bro, I smoked weed once. I'm like, I'm looking at that shit because I just fucking, I love the ganj. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, man. You know? And that's the weird thing, bro. It's like, do you feel more alive living on the edge of that, like fucking cliff? Or do you like fucking, just a straight, pleasant, formulaic, standard path, Because
Yeah.
there's something to like consistency, like truly like consistency reveals things as you put purpose over pleasure. And there's a weird time at which we recognize from being consistent long enough that pleasure is purposeful. That's the fucking paradox of life. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that we don't really unpack well in our society and haven't really debunked because we're so competitive. You know what I mean? We're so competitive in thinking we have to live these like Instagram fucking lifestyles. And it's like ingrained in our culture now. Like the American dream. And it's becoming something like trippy, where it's like you really got to kind of reevaluate and be like, fuck, dude. Like, didn't we all kind of want to like be able to be amongst each other and all excel at our own level and kind of like enjoy life and party together? And America's like supposed to be one solid party where no one freaks out. Like someone freaks out and we're like, hey, bro, fucking get it together. We're supposed to stand together, but it's just, I'm hoping that it continues to go that way. I'm hoping that we can make that our better and better reality for tomorrow.
Fact.
Again, this took another weird turn.
Took another weird fucking turn, but fuck it. We're here.
I'm on a weird train of thought kind of thing tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. See, I'm all fucked up. It's like shit happens that's like devastating in your life, and it's like it took the fucking puzzle, and you were like almost there. You had like a couple pieces left to put it in, and just fucking shaking it, and you just look back at it, and you're like, fuck.
It's like that little kid who's running out of money and lands on fucking the most expensive tile in fucking Monopoly. And you just like has no apartments anywhere, can't make money on anything. He's just so pissed off because he's got to pay taxes. He's going to jail. He's getting charged rent on some shit he didn't even want, and he's like, "Fuck this!" Just done with it, and then you start going, "Damn."
I think Monopoly is the single most important game that you can play as a child.
Oh yeah, that and Risk.
Risk is too complicated and never ending.
Oh, fucking play against me and my brother, dude.
I love that game. But
So
it's hard.
fun. Monopoly, never ending. Me and my brother loves strategy games. Playing against him as a kid was absolutely fucking demoralizing. So demoralizing because he would absolutely dominate me. And anybody else who played the fucking game with us, he would win every single time. And now, every time I play the game with other people, I win every single time. I'm like, get fucked, bitch.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Cameras are pointed at you at all times.
Yeah. Boom.
You take Australia,
Yeah.
fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, but
I've had all of Asia for 8 rounds, and you guys have been fighting over North America. Completely forgot about me stacking shit. Now I'm about to expand my territory. Get fucked.
yeah, like fucking Mongol.
Yeah. That's it,
But
man.
I think other than that, it's definitely wrestling. Like wrestling as kids is super
Oh,
important.
yeah, dude. We would put mattresses in the fucking living room. We would bring our mattresses out of the fucking our bedrooms, put our couches on either side as like the ropes, and we would just fucking wrestle in the living room hard as fuck.
Yeah, kids fucking each other up like makes better adults.
It was amazing.
I think it's proven.
So fun. And like,
Yeah.
and then also graduating from fucking wrestling in the living room with the mattresses, full contact, no padded football, in a random baseball field in Cascade Logs, with like 8 people on each team, almost literally a full fucking field of NFL, like just full people. We had dedicated quarterbacks. We had fucking people who were afraid to get hit by. And you're like, oh shit, yeah, this is real. I'm sure we've all had concussions from those, but
That's a vital part of our society.
oh yeah,
But that's about all I got, bro. I don't think it's getting better for me.
I don't think so either. I think
that I'm on tonight, baby.
you know, that goes with the philosophy that I was telling you at the gym. Just like you're feeling it, and as soon as you start feeling it go down, fucking on to the next bar.
Party's over, baby.
Yeah, you gotta
All
leave
right,
it at a high
well,
note.
Next week, baby. Peace.
Yes, sir. You are gonna see some cool ass shit.
Yeah, you don't want 2 flavor flavors.
Heart transplants, brain surgeries. I've seen it all.
Dude, that's fucking dope.
Walk up and just get it, whatever it is.
Yeah, brother.
I'm trying not to laugh, bro, but Josh is fucking killing me.
Guess what Navy SEALs do, motherfucker? They communicate and they're on the same fucking page.
Whoa.